The following is an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the community access producer and do not reflect those of Shaw Cable Systems. The program is presented in response to CRTC policy guidelines regulating community programming.
Hello everybody, I'm Vinu and welcome to Indian Cooking with Vinu. Today I'm going to show you how to make Poori, potato masala and Kesari. Poori is a deep fried Indian bread made with unleavened dough from whole wheat flour. It is usually served with potato masala or sometimes in the north with a sweet dish called Kesari. Now let's have a look at the ingredients required to make Poori. Whole wheat bread flour or atta, 1 cup, oil 1 tablespoon, salt 1/4 teaspoon, water and oil for deep frying. Now let's take 1 cup of whole wheat bread flour. We can add 1/4 teaspoon of salt to it. Now I'm going to add water little by little to make it into a stiff dough. So we have formed a stiff dough here. So unlike for the chapatis, we want the Poori to be a stiff dough. The dough that we made for chapati was soft, but the dough for Poori is like stiff. If you touch it, you should find that it's stiff so that it does not need any more flour for rolling and dusting. So just like in chapatis, the kneading for Pooris is also very important. We have to knead it well so that we get nice soft Pooris. So I always use my knuckles for kneading. So that way I can transmit more force while kneading. Why we are making the Pooris into a stiff dough is because we do not want to use any additional flour for rolling and dusting. Because if we use flour for dusting, then when we deep fry the Pooris in the oil, the flour particles get burnt in the oil and it will discolor the later batches of Pooris that we are making, and it will have black spots on the Pooris. So to avoid that, we want this to be a really stiff dough. Actually, for easy rolling, we are going to add, we are going to use oil, about a tablespoon of oil to roll it. That helps in easy rolling. So now, since we've kneaded it quite well, one last time. We can just cover it up with a wet towel. I have a wet towel here. I'm just going to cover it up and let it rest for about 15 minutes. And in the meantime, we can start making our potato masala. Let's have a look at the ingredients required to make potato masala. Potatoes 2, boiled, peeled and cubed. Oil 2 tablespoons. Mustard seeds ½ teaspoon. Curry leaves 1 sprig. Onion 1 sliced, green chilies of Indian variety 2 slit, tomato chopped 1, cayenne pepper powder ½ teaspoon, turmeric powder 1/4 teaspoon and salt to taste. Now let's heat a pan on medium high and add oil to it. Make sure the oil is hot before we add the mustard seeds into it. So the oil is heating up there. So in the south, when puri is served with potato masala, it's called puri masala, and in the north it's called puri and aloo sabji, and when we serve it with a sweet dish, it is called puri halwa, because halwa is the sweet. Now the oil is hot, we can add mustard seeds to it. About half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. It will splutter. And these are the curry leaves. I managed to get really fresh curry leaves. Actually, a friend of mine brought for me from Vancouver. You get really fresh curry leaves there. Sometimes I have to do with the other ones which I get here. Now I'm going to add the curry leaves into it. You can just break it in half and just add it there. The curry leaves have a very nice aroma and usually used in South Indian dishes. Now we can add the onions into it. We're going to saute this till it's soft, and you can see that the onions in here are sliced lengthwise. So in all of the Indian recipes, the onions when they say sliced, they mean sliced lengthwise unless specified. So we are not waiting for this to be light brown color, we just want it to be a little soft. Once now it looks a little softer. Now we're going to add the tomatoes into it. I have chopped tomatoes, 1 tomato finely chopped. I'm going to add it in here. Mix it well. This goes really well with the puri. Now I have the Indian variety of green chilies here. I'm just going to split it in half and just add it here. It's not extremely hot, so don't worry about de-seeding the green chilies. Mix that up well. Now we can add the cayenne pepper powder, half a teaspoon. Turmeric powder, a 1/4 teaspoon, or you can even add half a teaspoon if you like more yellowish color. All these spices are really good for you. It's really good for health. It aids digestion. Once the raw flavor from the spices have gone, we can add the potatoes. Now I have boiled the potatoes and then peeled it and cubed it up. I usually boil it in my pressure cooker for around 10 minutes. Because I boil it in the pressure cooker, it's really faster, and then I just peel it and cube it up. Now I'm going to add this in here. And we can add a little bit of salt to it. And we can add water for it to cook in, and so that a little bit of gravy forms as well. Just adding around half a cup of water. You can add a little more as well. And we can let this simmer for around 5 minutes. In the meantime, let's have a quick break and we'll be right back while it's getting cooked.
You're watching an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the community access producer and do not reflect those of Shaw Cable Systems. The program is presented in response to CRTC policy guidelines regulating community programming.
Welcome back. Our potato masala is still cooking there. In the meantime, we can see how we can make kesari, the sweet dish. Let's look at the ingredients required to make kesari. Semolina or suji, 1 cup, ghee, 2 tablespoons, cardamom powder, half teaspoon, saffron, 1 pinch, sugar, half a cup, cashews and golden raisins, 1/4 cup, water, 1.5 cups. So the name Kesari comes from kesar, which means saffron. So we'll be using saffron here today. Saffron is the most expensive spice in the world. That's because 1 ounce of this saffron needs almost like 4,500 flowers. So that's why it's so expensive. The threads that you see here are actually the stigmas of the flower, saffron crocus. It even has some curative properties, and it is believed to be really good for the nervous system and the cardiac system. Right now, this is semolina, and it's a product of wheat milling. It's a fine powder-like substance, and it looks similar to couscous. All right, now let's heat a pan. On medium high, and add ghee to it. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of ghee to it. Ghee is clarified butter, and ghee is used in the preparation of all the sweets in India. In the meantime, let's just give a good mix to our potato masala here so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And if the potatoes are in big chunks, do like mash it up a little bit with the spoon.